What if everything you were taught about success was wrong? What if working harder wasn't the answer? What if chasing money, fame, and goals only made you emptier? What if happiness was a skill? Naval Ravikant didn't just become wealthy, he became free, not because he followed the world's path, but because he stopped following altogether. In a world addicted to noise, he chose silence. In a world obsessed with more, he mastered enough. And in a world that runs faster every day, he learned how to stop. This isn't just a book. This is a blueprint for wealth without greed, success without sacrifice, and peace without permission. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Welcome to the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Take a breath, and let's begin. They told us to chase money, to wake up early, work harder, climb faster, but no one ever stopped to ask, what is wealth really? To Naval Ravikant, wealth is not money in your account. It's not a title. It's not a house. Wealth is freedom. The ability to live on your own terms, to wake up when you're rested, not when the alarm screams, to work on what you love, not what you're forced to do, to choose who you spend your time with and walk away when it's no longer right. You don't get there by trading time for money. If you're paid by the hour, your time has a ceiling. But wealth, the real kind, needs leverage. It means building things that keep working, even when you're not. A book, a business, code, content, capital. Naval says, make money while you sleep, or you'll work until you die. But leverage only works when you have something rare, something uniquely yours. He calls it specific knowledge. It's not something you learn in school, not something anyone can teach. It's the kind of knowledge you gain by following your curiosity, by diving deep into what feels like play to you, but looks like work to everyone else. This path isn't handed to you. No one gives permission. You build it by listening to your instincts, by doing what only you can do. And most people won't understand, but that's okay, because clarity is rare and the world rewards those who have it. Still, clarity isn't enough. You must take responsibility. Naval reminds us. To get rich, you must be accountable. Put your name on your work. Take the risk. Own the result. When things fail, you face it. When they work, you share the credit. Accountability builds trust, and trust is leverage. But this is not about hustle for the sake of hustle. Naval never worships busy. He doesn't glorify burnout. Instead, he speaks of quiet focus, of smart effort, of decisions that compound. Getting rich isn't about being the loudest. It's about being right quietly and staying in the game long enough to let the results speak. So maybe getting rich isn't what we thought. It's not a frantic race. It's not about proving anything. It's about building something honest, something that works for you even when you're gone. It's about knowing your value and letting time do the rest. You were never behind. You just hadn't started yet. Take a breath, think clearly, build slowly, and trust the process. Getting rich isn't about working harder. It's about deciding better, Naval says. Clear thinking is the most underrated skill in the world, and most people never stop to think clearly, not even for an hour in their life. Our minds are noisy, filled with opinions that aren't ours, thoughts planted by the crowd, beliefs we never questioned. But clarity doesn't come from more input. It comes from silence, from stepping away, from asking simple questions, and being brave enough to answer them honestly. What do I really want? What game am I playing? Who am I trying to impress? In a world that rewards speed, Naval chooses stillness. He reminds us that judgment, the ability to see what truly matters, is far more valuable than intelligence. Smart people are everywhere, but few are wise. Few know how to ignore the noise and choose the signal, to choose when to act and when to wait. To build good judgment, you need time alone, not scrolling, not reacting, just sitting, watching your thoughts pass. Meditation, Naval says, is not spiritual, it's practical. It's mental strength training. Like going to the gym for your mind, because clarity is a muscle. And you train it with silence. And then something shifts. You stop reacting to everything. You stop chasing every opportunity. You begin to choose deliberately. You begin to say no, to walk slower, to move wiser, to stop playing short-term games with short-term people. That's when leverage begins to work. Not because you're doing more, but because you're doing less, better. You stop wasting energy on things that don't compound, and you begin building things that do, one decision at a time. Naval says, read. Read everything. Read widely. Read deeply, because all the wisdom of the world is already written down. But most people scroll through life, never stopping to drink from the well. Reading is a form of leverage. It compresses decades of knowledge into hours. One book can teach you what someone else spent a lifetime learning. When you read with intent, you collect tools, mental models, perspectives, principles, not rules, but ways of seeing the world more clearly. Naval never reads to finish. He reads to understand. He skips freely, rereads often, and lets his curiosity guide the way. He doesn't chase page numbers. He chases insight, because not all reading is equal. Reading junk makes your mind noisy. Reading truth makes your mind still. So choose carefully. Find books that stretch you, not just entertain you. Books that change how you think, not just how you feel. Naval also says, read what you love until you love to read. Don't force yourself through books you hate. Start with what pulls you in, because once reading becomes a habit, you start learning without resistance. The deeper you go, the more patterns you start to see. Knowledge begins to connect. Your intuition sharpens. Eventually, you'll realize something. Most people argue about the same things, make the same mistakes, repeat the same cycles. But when you read deeply, you rise above that noise. You begin to understand the hidden forces beneath the surface. Start seeing the world like a chessboard, clear, predictable, and full of opportunity. So read. Read when you're tired. Read when you're lost. Read to remember who you are. Because every great thinker, every clear builder of wealth and wisdom, Naval says, all the returns in life, whether in wealth, relationships, or knowledge, come from compound interest. Not just financial compounding, but emotional, reputational, intellectual. And the only way compounding works is with time. That's why he repeats this one phrase like a mantra. Play long-term games with long-term people, because in the long term, everything becomes obvious. Who's honest? Who's consistent? Who shows up when it's hard? Who disappears when there's nothing left to take? Short-term thinking is everywhere. Chasing hacks, burning bridges, maximizing now, and paying for it later. But long-term games require patience. They ask you to build slowly, to choose trust over speed, to plant seeds knowing you may not see the fruit for years. Long-term people make everything better. They build with you, not above you. They speak truth when it's uncomfortable. They celebrate quietly, without competition. And when you fail, they don't vanish. They help you rise again. In business, this means choosing partners who think in decades, not in quarters. In relationships, it means surrounding yourself with those who invest in you, not just benefit from you. In learning, it means choosing depth over trend and building knowledge that lasts. This is where reputation comes in, Naval says. Play iterated games. The world teaches you to compete, to outdo, outwork, outsmart. But Naval whispers a different truth. You don't win by competing. You win by being yourself. The competition is for those playing someone else's game, running someone else's race. It breeds envy, fear, exhaustion. When you compete, you become replaceable. You're just another name, another resume, another cog in a crowded system. But when you lean into your authenticity, you escape the game entirely. Because no one can compete with you when you're fully you. Your quirks, your voice, your story, that's your leverage. That's what makes you rare, Naval says. The more you act like others, the more you compete with them. The more you act like yourself, the more you escape competition. And once you stop imitating, you start creating. Not from fear, but from clarity. The world is full of templates, safe paths, proven steps. But the most valuable work, the most fulfilling success, comes from charting your own course. And yes, it's riskier, and yes, it's slower, but it's also real. And real always lasts longer than fast. When you build from your truth, you attract the people meant for you. The work becomes easier. The audience finds you. And life starts to feel less like a performance, and more like alignment. So don't chase the crowded lanes. Don't fight to fit in. Instead, step out. Step into your honest path and let the world adjust to you, not the other way around. Most people earn a living by selling their time, an hour for a wage, a day for a salary. But Naval says this model is broken because time is finite. And if your income depends on time, then your freedom is always limited. There's only so much you can work, only so many hours in a day. And eventually you run out of energy, of space, of life. But your mind, your ideas, your knowledge, those can scale. Those can multiply without draining your soul. Naval's philosophy is simple. Build systems that make money while you sleep, not by exploiting others, but by creating value that exists outside of you. A book, a product, a business, a piece of code, solution to a problem, something that works. Even when you don't, this is what leverage really means. It's not about working harder. It's about choosing the right tools. Labor was the first form of leverage. Capital came next, and now we have code, content, and media. Leverage that costs nothing to replicate, but can reach millions in a moment. But to use leverage, you must first escape the trap of busyness. You have to stop measuring your worth by how tired you are. Naval doesn't admire those who grind endlessly. He admires those who think clearly and act deliberately, because in the long run, your brain compounds faster than your body. This is why Naval encourages building specific knowledge. Learn what feels like play to you. But most people work their entire lives without owning anything. They rent homes, rent jobs, rent time. And when it's all over, they look back and realize they built someone else's dream. Naval says, you will not get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of a business, to gain your financial freedom. Because true wealth is not earned by the hour. It's built by owning systems that scale. It's built by creating value that continues without you. Equity is ownership. It's having skin in the game. It means you're not just an employee. You're a builder, a creator, a stakeholder. When the business grows, you grow with it. This is why Naval urges you to stop chasing salaries and start thinking in terms of ownership. Start small. Join a startup. Build your own product. Invest in yourself. Naval says, learn to build, learn to sell. If you can do both, you will be unstoppable. 2 skills, that's it. Not degrees, not connections, not credentials. Just the ability to make something valuable and the courage to bring it to the world. To build is to create from nothing. It's to solve a problem. To make life easier, you can build code. You can build a product. You can build a system, a service, a story. Builders turn imagination into reality. They leave fingerprints on the world. But building alone is not enough, because if no one knows what you've made, it dies in silence. That's why selling is just as sacred. To sell is not to manipulate. It's to communicate. It's to connect. To show others why what you made matters. Most people are afraid to sell. They think it's pushy, loud, dishonest. But Naval reframes it. Selling at its best is telling the truth so clearly that others feel it too. It's understanding what people need and offering it with integrity. The magic happens when you combine both. When you build something only you can build, share it in a way only you can share. That's when leverage begins to multiply. That's when you escape competition. And that's when your work starts to work for you. So don't spend your life only building in silence. And don't waste your time only selling what isn't yours. Master both. Build something real. And learn how to let the world feel it. Happiness is not out there. It's not hidden in a job, a city, a person, or a number in your bank account, Naval says. Happiness is a skill, something you can learn, just like fitness or coding. Most people wait. They say, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, when I find the right one, when I finally make it. But happiness doesn't live in the future. It only lives here, now, and the truth is hard. If you're not happy with a little, you won't be happy with a lot, because the source of your suffering is not out there. It's the stories you tell yourself. It's the endless craving for more, the false belief that something's missing. Naval teaches us to unlearn this craving, to let go of needing things to be different, to see thoughts as just thoughts, not commands. Meditation, silence, walking alone. These are not luxuries. They are training for the mind. They help you remember you are not your thoughts, you're the space beneath them. Happiness is what remains when you stop wishing for a different reality. When you stop clinging to outcomes and start honoring the moment in front of you. It's quiet. It's light. It doesn't shout, but it's there, waiting under all the noise. This doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means suffering becomes optional. Because when you learn how to be still, you stop needing the world to move for you. So don't chase happiness. Don't earn it. Don't fight for it. Just practice it. Like a musician with a song, like a monk with his breath, with patience and softness and space. There is no moment but now. Everything else is memory or imagination. The past, a story you keep rehearsing. The future, a fantasy you keep chasing. Navel whispers the truth. All of man's troubles come from not knowing how to sit quietly in a room alone. Not because the room is cruel, but because the mind won't stop spinning. We fill silence with noise. We check, scroll, refresh. Afraid to feel bored, afraid to meet ourselves. But what if peace isn't something we find, but something we stop avoiding? Peace lives in the space between two thoughts. In the breath you forgot you were taking, in the moment you finally stopped searching. It's not exciting, not flashy, but it's the only thing that feels like home. Spend years building identities, titles, goals, reputations, only to realize none of it matters if you can't sit with yourself in stillness. Naval reminds us, a calm mind is the ultimate foundation of happiness. No money can buy it, no fame can guarantee it. But it can be practiced through presence, through choosing now over every what if and someday. So ask yourself, not what you want to achieve, but how you want to feel while you're alive. Slow down. Look up. Feel the wind, the silence, the aliveness, and remember, this moment, this very breath is enough. So maybe, in the end, the real pursuit was never about becoming someone else, but remembering who you already are beneath the noise, beneath the need to prove, beneath the race you were never meant to win. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply here, breathing, feeling evolving. And that is more than enough. Naval never gave us answers. He gave us questions that point inward. He gave us permission to be free, to detach, to think clearly, to live by design, not by default. So take this moment, close your eyes, ask yourself not, what do I need to do next? But, who am I without all of it? If this voice resonated with something deep in you, if even a single line made you pause, reflect, or breathe softer, then share this journey with someone you care about. Let them feel it too. Subscribe to this channel for more truths you didn't know you needed. And remember, the world is noisy, but peace has always been waiting right where you are. Stay still, stay curious, and stay human.